Episode 2. Yay!
Yay.
They're on another planet,
A Karlak, I believe.
Karlak, where May, we learn that the other twin, the evil twin. I mean, this is like such a trope in sci-fi. The evil twin, like evil Spock or whatever. This has been done, right?
Yeah.
Is there to assassinate another Jedi.
Yeah. On Karnak, there's a Jedi temple.
Yeah, there's a Jedi temple, and there's a Master Torben. And since this event that happened 16 years ago, he has not spoken a word. He is meditating, floating, and he's older than his younger self, right? And oh, by the way, I watched the show with the closed captioning on, and when robots talk, you know what they say in the closed captioning?
It's like robot.
It's in binary language.
Oh,
binary, specifically for episode 2. So she is trying to assassinate Master Torben. He is in an impenetrable shield. She needs a poison or something as a way to get to him. And she finds this guy who's helping her. He's just an assistant to a I have to say the episode 1 ended with meeting. There's a Dark Lord, shadowy figure in a robe. I think I figured out who it is.
Oh, did you?
After episode 3, it's pretty obvious.
Okay, you'll have to tell me afterwards.
Well, I'll tell you when we talk about 3.
Okay.
There's a shadowy dark figure that May is the master, and she wants to please the master by assassinating all these Jedi, right? So her next target in episode 2 is Master Torben, but she's got to sneak into the temple. She sneaks in. She can't get through the shield.
There's a force shield, a force field around him.
And she has this guy who's helping her, who gives her just, stuff. He's like a dealer.
He's the Q of this gang here.
Yeah. And what's weird is what I really dislike, on a side note, the world building. Everything in Star Wars is third world. This is supposed to be the High Republic. Is there any other world that's just a decent world? Everything is like third world and bribes and scum and villainy and all that. That's the universe, right? So they bring all the Jedi. That's Yord, the other, what's the young
Jekki,
Yord, and Master Soul take Osha to this other planet where May was spotted trying to kill Torben. When I'm saying all this out loud, does it sound like terrible fanfic? I just realized, hearing myself talk, this sounds like awful fanfic. What am I even saying? Anyways, explain what happens with the second half of the show. That's the setup.
So someone attempts to kill Master Torben there, and that person looks a lot like Osha, but weirdly enough, Osha is with them. What? So I mean, it's been already discovered. It's May. The girl's May. It's Osha's sister, who they thought died in a fire that May started on their home planet. They thought she was dead, but no, she's not dead, and she's the one who's killing Jedi. In fact, there are 4 Jedi she is going after. It was the Indira in the first one, Torben here.
Indara,
Torben. There's a Wookiee, and then there's Master Saul. Those are the 4 Jedi she has to kill, and she has to kill each of them in a specific way. That is what her master has told her, and so this is where I think Leslie Headland thinks that she's a great writer, in the sense of each of the Jedi has to be, like I said, murdered in a different way. And it's up to May to figure out how she is going to kill. It's like a puzzle. And in this case, killing Torben, it is interesting, but in a lame way, in the sense of it should have been written a whole lot better. Like if you were a sci-fi writer, a classic sci-fi writer, wrote for Twilight Zone or Star Trek, you'd figure out a better way to kill this guy the way she did than the way it actually happens. Here's one thing that, so I mentioned in the first episode where the assassin, where May says a Jedi does not pull her weapon, the lightsaber, unless she's prepared to kill. When they talk to this guy who is basically May's, May's between her and the Master, this kind of street rat kind of guy, they corner him because they want to find May. And when he says, "I don't know who you're talking about," what does Yord do? He whips out his lightsaber and points it in his face. Yord takes his lightsaber and points it at an unarmed man.
Yes,
and this is why. Yeah, go ahead.
They're like making the Jedi evil. They're like overzealous cops or overreaching cops. Like,
Also, it just shows the bad writing. I mentioned before that it looks like Leslie Headland is writing for the situation. So in the first episode, it's like, well, you're not supposed to be the first person to draw your lightsaber. The May says, "Fight me." Well, Jedis don't fight. They defend. But in this case, the situation calls for a menacing Jedi. And so therefore I'm going to write that Yord pulls out his lightsaber and points it at this unarmed man. Yeah. This is how I felt the writing was all throughout, that there are no rules. She doesn't really understand, let alone she doesn't understand the Force and the Jedi. She doesn't understand characterization as to why people act the way they do. Because it just seems out of place for Yord to have done what he did.
Yes, not only does she not follow the rules of the universe as established by George Lucas, she doesn't follow any of the rules she sets up for herself.
Mm-hmm.
So
and we know that she set up rules for herself.
Right. Let's talk about what happens in the second half of the show. So she gets this poison and
convinces Torben to drink it.
So here's what I don't get. Torben is so distraught by what happened 16 years ago, which we will see in episode 3. Episode 3 is a flashback episode where we see what this horrible event that happened 16 years ago is about.
Yeah.
Why would a Jedi commit and end his own life? Why would a Jedi do this?
Or why would he waited 16 years to wait for someone to bring him poison so he can kill himself?
And by the way, I've seen episode 3. I still don't understand why a Jedi would do that. This is unprecedented in Star Wars, where a Jedi would end his own life over some shame, over an event that he's really kind of not that responsible for. We'll talk about 3
we'll talk about when we get to that episode. I have theories.
But it's weird. So he ends his life.
Well, there's a theme that is going on through the first 2 episodes, and it's PTSD. On I think 2 occasions, Osha wakes up after a nightmare, and then we have this Torben guy here who clearly has suffering from PTSD because he's locked himself away in solitude, put a force field around him, and now he's finally relieving the guilt he's bore over all these 16 years by killing himself. And it's just lame ways. It's just lame ways to write a science fiction show because it's too easy. There's not a lot of thought put behind it, and Jedi have telekinetic powers.
And that leads to and so Torben is of course dead. And they at first think May might be, or Osha might be responsible. She's not. And then they regroup and go, hey, the next target is the Wookiee Jedi, which I have a problem.
There is a battle between, they catch up to May.
Oh,
and
right. They
Saul
catch up with
feels
May.
like he has to be the one to bring her in. And of
And
course,
they have a fight.
Yeah, they have a fight, and they get away. And of course, Osha has a chance to capture her, to catch her, and of course, conflicted, she lets her go.
Yeah, so the twins see each other, and he's pointed. Osha's pointed her blaster at May, and misses, but she did it on purpose.
Yeah,
she didn't hit her.
She's conflicted.
May gets away, and so there you go. Which is going to lead to a trip to this planet where the Wookiee Jedi, which I have a problem with already. Let me explain. The Wookiee Jedi is wearing a Jedi robe and clothes. So what does that mean Chewbacca was doing all along?
He's freeballing. He was
freeballing. Chewbacca was freeballing. So when you see like a Wookiee with clothes on, what the heck was Chewbacca doing?
Yeah. Well, we're right now into episodes 3 and 4, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, so let's end this. So that ends, and we're off, going to track down the Jedi Wookiee, and that's how that ends. So there's a conflict. She gets away. She's going to assassinate the Wookiee. All right, now.
And that's your cliffhanger ending, by the way.
That's your cliffhanger. That's what you're going to see tonight. The big cliffhanger.
Yeah, they're going to visit a Wookiee Jedi. That's the cliffhanger.
And I will say this
too.
If you're a casual fan or whatever, you'll look at this and go, "Oh, this is kind of interesting. I'll keep watching." These episodes are, for the most part, inoffensive. It's bad, but not, offensively bad. But just wait. Just wait.